like many of you, I remember exactly where I was on April 27, 2011. Because of the impending weather, we decided to close Shelton that day at 2:30. Having been raised in Tornado Alley in the Midwest, thought it didn't look that bad. Need a little uninterrupted time at work to get a few things done, so I decided to stay. About 4 o'clock that day, I left Shelton, but not before I received a call from my wife telling me to drive someplace and take shelter because the weather was too bad to get home. I drove the bypass, the one that would shortly thereafter be immortalized by videographers as the tornado jumped the interstate before crashing into homes and businesses and changing life forever for thousands. I got to our apartment complex to be greeted by dozens of people hunkered down in our apartment's safe place, a location usually known as the clubhouse. The power shut down, the TVs turned off, and cell service was mostly suspended as we watched and waited. Were it not for a friend in St. Louis watching the Weather Channel and tweeting me the location of the tornado and its route, we would have been on our own. Yesterday I was driving to a Little League baseball game in Cottondale. On April 28, 2011, I drove Crescent Ridge Road for the first time. Along that route is a single American flag, amidst the debris, but waving as a symbol of strength and hope. That flag is still there. It's that hope, the strength and the spirit that binds us together in tough times, that brings us here today. In the next few minutes, you're going to hear our efforts to remember. Our theater, our choir, words from our president. You may commemorate, in a deeply personal way, an event that changed us fundamentally. You may even remember with emotion. It's okay. We welcome you to this event and are so glad you've chosen to be a part of our effort to step forward by remembering the past.
Thank you, Dr. Newton. My name is Michael Carr, and I am the theater program coordinator. I was inside this tornado for a boy who grew up in England, where the worst weather threat is continual drizzle. Having a tornado is something you just don't have as part of your psyche. After the tornado, the idea occurred to many in the artistic community that we must do something a year hence to commemorate and reflect upon what happened on April 27th. To that end, I have been very, very fortunate to collaborate with artistic colleagues in the music field, fine arts field, photography, as well as theater and dance, to produce an original production called Inside the Tornado. This production composes 10 original plays written by students from the University of Alabama, alumni of the University of Alabama in Shelton, and also members of the community that reflect upon their experiences during this tornado. The play will be presented in the Bean Brown Theater It is free to the public, although we do ask you for a small donation, $5 suggested to the Red Cross. I believe that seeing what human beings have to say about human events is important. We've all seen the footage, the tornado, devastation, factual evidence. But what this play, this series of plays and artistic creations reflects is the human aspect of it, the emotional aspect, those things that are intangible. I will never be the same. My children will never be the same. Thank God they're here. Thank God my friends and family were unharmed physically. But there are many who didn't have that luck. But for all of us, we're changed. You live in this community, you will see the effects of this tornado for the rest of your lives. I've talked to people, Oak Grove, which had a tornado in '92, still buildings that are shattered, still litter the landscape. This was the most momentous event in my life. Moments like this allow me to dwell on it, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so. I hope that we can all in this community take a moment over the next week or so to reflect upon what our lives are like now and what they might have been like if this tornado hadn't happened. This makes a difference. I do believe that this play will make a difference. I encourage you all to come and see it and to join with this community to come together and to remember an event that has affected us all. Thank you.
I'm Glenda Blackshear from the music department. As part of our concert last evening, we also had a time to remember. Today, I'd like to present our sophomore music major, Abe Fields, a member of the Shelton Singers and the Bach to Rock Ensemble, who will sing a spiritual entitled, I've Been the Storm So Long.
Time time to pray. Oh, give me a little time to pray.
My thanks to each of you for being here this afternoon for this very special event. After I was asked to make a few comments, I probably spent more time pondering what I would say at this particular event than anything that I've ever done recently, because I'm not sure what you can say to capture what happened just a year ago. Certainly, as you've heard from Michael just a moment ago, this changed each of our lives forever, and we'll never be the same because of it. But I'm going to take a shot at it, because I think it is important, it's very important, that we never forget what happened 1 year ago. And we also never forget the outcomes, the consequences, and I think there have been some pretty fantastic consequences of this event. As you all know, on April 27th, 2011, at 5:13 p.m., an EF4 tornado, more than a mile wide, still hard to believe, even though I've said it 100 times, more than a mile wide, touched down in the Tuscaloosa area, leaving a 5.9 mile path of destruction. 12% of our city was destroyed. 12%. I can't even wrap my brain around that. 52 citizens lost their lives. 1,200 citizens were injured. Listen to this number, and I know you've heard it before. 7,000 people became unemployed in 6 minutes. 7,000 people lost their jobs in 6 minutes. 5,362 residential structures were damaged or destroyed. 356 commercial structures were damaged or destroyed. 770 animals were taken into shelter. But you know, and this is where I ponder this a lot, but you know, something very, very special happened on the way to the tornado. And again, I don't want to come across at all as being uncaring or unconcerned, but something very, very special happened. And I think a big part of what happened was people from everywhere joined hands and went to work. People who rarely interacted with each other became fast and close friends and worked side by side for hours, days, weeks, and months. There's a passage in the Bible that is one of my favorites. It's probably one of my favorites because it's often misquoted and misused, which irritates me, but that's another issue. But this is the passage. It's Romans 8:28, and it reads, "And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God, for those who are called according to his purpose." And again, often it's misquoted because we assume, or we want to say, God did this, so we learned this, which is not at all what was meant in that particular passage. What I believe it suggests is that in our darkest hour, in our city's darkest hour, people and circumstances work together for the good. And I believe that's exactly what happened in Tuscaloosa a year ago, and 11 months ago, and 10 months ago, and on and on and on to this very day. And let's look at some of the evidence, some of the good evidence that has occurred. And I think it is as spectacular, if not more spectacular, than the destruction. 24,908 individuals registered as volunteers after the tornado. And that is an amazing number. These are individuals who actually registered, and we know there were many more who never officially registered but did many, many good things. Of those 24,908 registered volunteers, more than 2 million recorded volunteer hours were given to the recovery causes. Again, my brain doesn't allow me to calculate that. 2 million volunteer hours. As many of you know, in excess of 2,000 power trucks were stationed behind this campus in our parking lot for a number of weeks after the tornado. And if you were to have walked out in the parking lot and looked at the license plates, you would have found that those license plates came from all over this country. People drove for literally thousands of miles to come to Tuscaloosa and help us put the pieces back together. 751,875 cubic yards of debris was removed from our city. Again, I can't imagine what quantity that is. And now, after much needed planning, and as is always the case, there are people who think they can do better than those who are in charge. But after much needed planning, rebuilding is underway, and Tuscaloosa is gradually coming back out of the ground. And you know, I think there is I don't know of a better word at this point, but I think there's a new civility or a new kindness in our city that most say is a change for the good. Let's pledge our continued efforts to bring Tuscaloosa back from the worst disaster in her history. And let's never forget those who paid the ultimate price 1 year ago. If you would now join me in a few moments of silence.